Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another installment of Scott's Selections here for Friday, January 17th. Before we get into today's play of the day, quick recap of what happened yesterday. We ended up picking up a tough loss with the Bucks minus 9.5, which was available on DraftKings at minus 110. Unfortunately, it went up to minus 11. We mentioned how Jaylen Brown might not play, and if he was not going to play, the line would end up moving to 11 or 12. That ended up happening. The line ended up climbing up to 11. The Bucks led by 27 in the second quarter, and they led by, I forgot what exactly it was. They were up by double digits going into the fourth, and they completely just fell apart. Well, first of all, they gave up buzzer beater three-pointers to end both the second and the third quarter, and the Bucks ended up entering the fourth up 19 and proceeded to get outscored by 14 in the fourth, so they only won by 5, and we ended up picking up a loss. It was pretty unfortunate, to be honest. I mean, we set ourselves up in a good spot. You got a 27-point lead. You're up 19 going into the fourth. And then you get absolutely destroyed for 36 points in the fourth quarter. And we ended up losing that play. We got value on it, though. We got it at 9.5, closed at 11. But either way, ended up picking up a loss there. Now, for today's card on Friday, really not much to talk about in terms of the depth of the card. You have a couple of NBA games, kind of surprisingly short considering the fact that it's a Friday. Usually you get a decent amount of NBA games, not many. And then you also have some college basketball games, none of which are really worth writing home about. You have a couple of ranked teams playing. I'll give out my leans on those. Then you have 3 hockey games. But for the play of the day, we're going to be looking at a matchup, the late game matchup actually, between Portland and Dallas. And we like the over in this contest, which is available at over 229.5 at minus 110 on FanDuel. Now, the main reasons why we like the over in this contest. First of all, they already played once this season. They totaled 240 points. And in that game, the Mavericks shot the ball really terribly. I mean, you ended up having 240 points in the full game, and the Mavericks only scored 48 points after halftime. So the Mavericks completely fell apart after scoring 71 in the first half, and yet they still scored 119. They also only shot 39.4% from the floor. So I mean, scoring 119 despite shooting 39% is pretty impressive. Dallas also attempted 53s, and they made 13 of them, so they shot 26% from 3. I mean, the fact that they got to 119 with those terrible shooting numbers is kind of just indicative of the fact that Dallas, if they actually shoot the ball as well as they normally do, they should break 120 in this game. Meanwhile, Portland offensively did play really well in that game as they ended up shooting 51% from the floor. They scored 121 points. I think you should see both teams once again get towards the 120s in this spot. Money's already come in on the over. The line has already climbed from 228.5 on the opener to roughly 230 right now. However, it is still available at 229.5 on FanDuel, and that is why we're going to be giving that line out right now. This line should continue to climb, and I would not be surprised to see it move to 231 or so right before opening tip. It's also worth mentioning that Dallas' offense has been playing really well lately, which bodes well for the over. Dallas has scored at least 124 points in each of their last 2 games, and both those were on the road. And before that, if you also look, they also gave up 129 points to the Lakers at home. They played Philly, they shut Philly down, but Philly also can't shoot, and they're without Embiid, so that's not really and I believe Philly was on the second night of a back-to-back on that one, if I'm not mistaken. But either or, Portland ended up winning their last game against the Rockets, scored 117 points. They also gave up 112 points the game before that to Charlotte, and Charlotte's offense isn't that good. Gave up 122 points to Milwaukee, gave up 116 points to Minnesota. Honestly, they've had some pretty high-scoring games, and Dallas has been cooking offensively, averaging roughly 125.5 points per game in each of their, in their last 2 games combined. I think both teams should be able to get into at least the 115 or higher range. I think you should see Dallas probably break 120. I think Portland has the ability to also break 115 or so, and I think this game should go over the posted total. I mean, just logically, I don't think Portland can guard Doncic. I think he'll have a big game. I don't think anybody on Dallas can really guard Lillard, Andesh, or McCollum either. Doncic isn't really a great defender. Hardaway Jr. is an okay defender, not great. Melo gives you no defense whatsoever. Whiteside's pretty good, but he's also slow, so if they end up switching on pick and rolls, I think they could potentially torch him from the three-point line due to his slow closeout speed. But overall, I think this total's too low. This total should probably be in the 230s. And for that reason, the play of the day will be on the over 229.5, which is available on FanDuel at minus 110. And that game will be taking place at 9:30 Eastern Time. Now, talking about some of the leans on today's card, lean to the Raptors minus 10 here, or minus 10.5, I should say, against the Wizards. Wizards are simply bad in Toronto. They're finally getting healthy at the right time. They got themselves an impressive win against Oklahoma City on the road in their last game. I just think Washington matches up terribly. I know Beal's back, but I mean, Toronto has Gasol and Siakam back, even Norman Powell. They're getting healthy, and I just think Toronto's the better overall team. Lean to the Raptors on that one. Other than that, lean to Memphis minus 8. I know that spread seems high, but Memphis has been absolutely cooking lately, and Cleveland got embarrassed in their last 2 road games by the Lakers and Clippers, respectively. I know that the Lakers and Clippers are 2 of the best teams in the entire league, and now they have to play Memphis. But getting blown out in consecutive games against a team that's on a winning streak isn't exactly a good sign for Cleveland. I think Memphis should win this game with double digits. Lean to the Grizzlies on that one. Other than that, that's kind of all my thoughts on the NBA. Now, for college basketball, I'm going to lean to Iowa minus the 4.5. Do I really like the line? No, but at the same point, the fact that an unranked team is favored by roughly 5 points against a ranked team tells me all I need to know. Lean to Iowa on that one. Other than that, I'm going to lean to the under 131.5 between Michigan State and Wisconsin. I know money's coming on the over, but I still just think this line's too high for a game that Wisconsin's involved in. Michigan State plays really good defense. Wisconsin's going to slow the pace, and I think you should see both teams finish somewhere in the 60s or so. Lean to the under in that one. Other than that, what else do I like here? Dayton's a tricky one because St. Louis has been really good at home. I'm still going to lean to Dayton, though. I just think they're the best team in the entire conference. I think Dayton should win this game by double digits. Lean to Dayton on that one. But the play that I once again will be the over 229.5 between the Mavericks and the Trailblazers. And that line is available at minus 110 on FanDuel. That's going to be the installment of Scott's Selections here for Friday, January 17th. A good luck to all of you and your respective bets today. Bye, everyone.